to our normal 10-point must-scoring system. Jim.
Viviani Bungu comes from what he describes as a boxing community in South Africa. He once trained for nearly a year in Detroit and actually lived at the home of Emmanuel Stewart, one of the two men who trained Prince Nassem Hamed. Stewart, I guess, didn't see Bungu's eventual world championship potential, Larry.
He told me about an hour ago that when he read in the newspapers that Bungu had defeated Kennedy McKinney, American gold medalist, undefeated champion, he was shocked. He didn't realize what he had there. That was before Bungu had become a champion.
Bungu has a medicine man traveling with him, and that's the gentleman who is in the ring right now. When we asked exactly what it was the medicine man does for Viviani, one of Bungu's handlers said to us, he makes a lot of noise, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. Proud gentleman, Viviani Bungu, 37 wins. The 2 losses, both early in his career. The second of those 2 losses, 8 years ago. 19 KOs. He's a little underpowered. At least he was at 122 pounds. So you suspect he will be also 4 pounds farther north at 126. And now here comes the entrance of Prince Nassem Hamed, who has said to us that he'll have a special, spectacular entrance tonight for his London fans. It involves a magic carpet, and then from this point forward, he says he's going to scale these entrances back a little bit.
I'm just crushed, Jim. This may be the end of an era. Say it ain't so, Prince. What are you without an opening act? He got a good deal on the carpet. His critics wish that the carpet would continue on to Iceland.
Among many stars in the crowd here tonight, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Billy Wyman of the Rolling Stones. So if you see a magic carpet on that next big Stones tour, you'll know where they came up with the idea. There's Puffy Combs, a new buddy of Naz's and on his way into the ring. So how come Naz didn't wear Jennifer Lopez's dress?
One of a kind. It takes a certain kind of nerve, even imagination, to put yourself out like that and make yourself such a target. I mean, after all, the claim is not that he's not a good fighter or even an outstanding fighter, but that he's just not as good as he says he is. What's more important? Is he as good as he says he is? Or is he as good as he is?
Hadn't tripped on that top rope yet. There's the record. 33 wins, no losses, no draws, 29 KOs. After the long string of early knockouts, he has gone double digits in his last 3 fights. 12 rounds with McCullough, 11 rounds before the knockout of Ingle, 12 rounds in the last fight against Cesar Soto. He would like to do something quick and exciting to reward this big crowd here tonight. And Manny Stewart smiling in the background, but it hasn't been all smiles between Prince Nassem and Stewart this week. Stewart has been openly critical of the Prince for training on the island of Tenerife. As you watch this telecast, you can also log on to www.hbo.com/boxing to chat and score each round of the fight. You can stick around for an hour after the fight to chat with Steve Barhood if you're in the Eastern or Central time zones. And our website question tonight. Simple yes or no. Would you like to see Prince Nassem Hamed lose tonight? Yes, if you want to see him lose. No, if you don't. Now let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Hearn and Prince Promotions in association with Golden Fist and Cedric Kushner Promotions present 12 rounds of boxing for the featherweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the WBO President Francisco Barcarcel, supervisor ringside, Hall of Famer and former light heavyweight champion of the world, Jose Torres, and sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, President Leonard Nipper Reed, timekeeper for this bout, Ray Rice. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this contest on the 10-point must system will be Henk Adrianze from Holland, Dave Paris from England, and Jose Roberto Torres from Puerto Rico. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, working in the 128th time in a title bout, Joe Cortez from the United States. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Grand Hall Olympia, London, England, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white and weighing in at 8 stone, 13½ pounds, or 125½ pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one, stands at 37 victories, including 19 by knockout, with only 2 losses, and in world title bouts, he is undefeated with 14 victories. From East London, South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, the former undefeated super bantamweight champion of the world, Viviani, the Beast, Bungu. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, fighting out of the opposite corner, the blue corner, who at this time would like to say something in the microphone.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Introducing, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing leopard with Adidas trim, weighing 9 stone or 126 pounds. His professional record is a perfect one, consisting of 33 bouts, 33 victories, including 29 by knockout, and he is considered by many among the best pound for pound in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, from Sheffield, England, presenting member of the British Empire, the reigning and defending, undefeated WBO featherweight champion of the world, Prince Nassem. Hammett.
All right, Nassem, Bungu, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Nassem, these trunks are a little high. Yours are a little high also. Give me a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. And remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Understand? Touch them up.
Since we neglected to bring our Arab interpreter, I'll tell you what he said, Jim. I'm faster, I'm quicker, he doesn't have a chance. Bungu has heard that song before.
Incidentally, have you ever seen a fighter be given the opportunity to speak during pre-fight introductions by the ring announcer before?
Roy Jones may have done something like that. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
No?
I think it's a first.
Now, if you travel around a lot, you'll hear boxers talk before the fight, even give speeches. It's almost typical.
Really?
Away from television.
Away from television. Well, Viviani Bungu, coming off the longest layoff of his career, 13 months out of the ring. He gave up his 122-pound world championship and moved up in weight specifically for the opportunity of taking this fight. And, of course, he makes the biggest purse of his career tonight because of the opposition, Prince Nassem Hamed.
About $350,000.
A pittance compared to what Hamed collects, but nevertheless highly significant if you come from the kind of poverty that afflicted Bungu's early life in South Africa. Naz fighting out of his southpaw stance and trying to land big shots from odd angles, as is his stock in trade. Bungu is also a fighter who fights at odd angles and often in machine gun bursts. Likes to get inside, pepper his opponent, and then move back away into a cocoon. Hard shot by Nassem as Bungu came in.
Bungu is one of those boxers that you really just got to get a knockout by coincidence. He's solid, keeps his feet spread, so he's never off balance.
But Naz's shots are hurting him here in the first round.
Naz has just got to be himself, get an occasional shot, turns and face to the side with the straight right hand.
When first we saw Prince Nassem, George, you pointed out how his extraordinary power comes from his legs.
He's got powerful legs. You look down, you don't see much on top. But if you focus down below, you see strong calves and ankles.
Also give Hamed a chance to widen out and throw shots from unusual angles. They always say the punches that hurt you most are the ones you don't see coming. It's harder to see Naz's shots coming than is the case with a lot of other fighters.
Bungu, being a solid boxer, likes to keep a guy knowing where he's going to be when he's jabbing, knowing where the right hand is going to land. He doesn't like reaching out into new territory.
Hard right hand by Bungu. Snap Naz's head back, and then there's another right across the Nassem jaw. And already we learned that there are significant numbers in the crowd who root against Hamed rather than for him here.
The Prince is a boxer that fights with his eyes. A lot of fighters go by rhythm, but he's looking at what he's doing.
Round one largely dominated by Prince Nassem's big shots. Bungu getting in the two right hands toward the end. In Nassem's corner tonight, some unusual activity.
Now, you remember
Oscar Suarez, the man with that red and white cap on his head, is going to get in to talk to Naz after the first, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, and 11th rounds. Emmanuel Stewart will come in to talk to Nassem after the second, fourth, sixth, eighth, 10th, and 12th rounds, unless we are told Hamed gets in trouble, in which case Stewart is going to take over.
Okay, it's getting about the power now. If he's there, he's going to come, okay? So pick up.
You see what Bungu is doing already, crouching, moving, making himself a difficult target, and looking to land a counter as Hamed throws one of his big uppercuts.
Copy box numbers in round one. Hamed landing 23 out of 71, 32%. Bungu, 14 out of only 48 punches thrown, well below his average. This is an 80 punch per round guy who came out and threw 48 in the first round against the Prince. That's what Nassem's power and unorthodoxy can do to opponents.
Main thing, Bungu has got to stay focused on being solid. Don't reach out beyond his defense.
Emmanuel Stewart trying to get Prince Nassem Hamed to throw shorter shots and to focus more often on the body. And already here tonight, he's thrown more body punches than we sometimes see from the Prince.
Sometimes that's a difficult task when you see a boxer fights with his eyes. He needs to be out there away so he can look at what he's doing. You put him close, he loses his confidence. That's why there's going to be a difficult in making him move into short shots. He likes room out there.
And you got to get close to throw to the body. As with a big shot upstairs, Bungu crouching, working inside, lands that right hand counter. Kind of gets a little smile out of Nassem. Bungu's determination can be a big factor in his fights. On the undercard of Hamed McCullough in Atlantic City, Bungu seemed to trail in the early rounds against the more orthodox Danny Romero. But in the late rounds, Romero receded and Bungu came on. His activity level went up. He won the late rounds and won a close fight.
Bungu keeps his hands up, throws them out, bring them right back to his chin. Understands there's power that he's up against. You don't want a guy like a Prince focusing on pot shot. You got to keep active, hit him every now and then, throw something.
Power shots for Naz, hurting Bungu more than he's been hurt in his previous fights at 122 pounds.
He's allowing the Naz to just stand back and look. You want to get close to him, make him back up and think about what he's doing.
He's got to find a way to get inside without having to be pot-shotted by Nassem Hamed as he does so.
Right. You want to throw shots because if you just follow a punch around, you're going to get it.
Constant George Foreman aphorism, don't follow a puncher around the ring. Bungu has done it for 2 rounds and survived, but he's taken some tattooing for his trouble. And now Emmanuel Stewart comes into the ring for his first crack at talking to the Prince.
You got this guy's fighting you real tight. You see how he's fighting you. He's got you like a crab. He's not giving you any fucking room or nothing to punch at. He's fighting you real tight down here. Start backing him up. He got bad legs. In other words, start pushing him back and towing and banging. But the best shot,
You've got to make a double jab first, okay?
It's okay. Just a little. Stay still.
You've got to put him off balance first, all right? We are not putting him off balance. And I don't want you on the rope. What I need from you, Vito, you've got to make double jab, okay? Close the gap. We can only fight this man like that.
We did not detect that cut during the round. It could be a bad one on the left eye. Blood already dripping near or perhaps even in to that left eye on Bungu.
Emmanuel Stewart has told the Prince to back Bungu up, saying he doesn't have good legs.
But that is really not the Prince's style.
No, it's not in his nature. That's a hard thing to do, but it looks to me that he would like to give it a try.
The seriousness of the cut, evidenced by the fact that Umbi Munguni, Bungu's trainer, elected not to get into the ring in front of the fight at that time, but rather allowed the cut man, Paddy Byrne, to do so. Now Prince Nassem Hamed again backing Bungu up with big shots.
Bungu's just got to keep his head moved, keep his hands up, move in and jab the Prince in his chest. Stop aiming at his head.
Just to show how out of his own style Bungu has been forced here. This is a guy who averaged 84 punches a round as a 122-pound fighter. In the first 2 rounds here, he averaged 46 punches per round. It's hard to throw when you know that Naz is coming back with those big shots.
Now he's aiming his shots into Prince's chest. That'll help out a little bit. If you aim for the chest, you'll get the chin.
Fighting with great confidence, already seems to have come to the conclusion that Bungu can't hurt him with the right hand.
And he's doing like his corner told him. He's backing Bungu up. I'm surprised at that.
Normally, Naz backs up and allows the opponent to come to him.
Body shot. Wicked right to the body by the Prince. That hurt.
He is hurting Bungu both to the body and the head. Bungu looking wobblier than is usually the case, and throwing many fewer punches. Occasionally landing a clean right hand, but Hamed has been able to walk through them. Here's a left-hand shot landing for Bungu. And there's a hard left hand for the Prince, who turns around into a right-handed stance and fires a right cross. Now back to the southpaw stance.
The bad thing about that with the Prince, moving forward like that beyond his nature, if the fight goes beyond 6 or 7 rounds, he'll have to pay the cost for that.
And what will be the price, George?
Well, you're using muscles that you're not accustomed to, nor do you like to use. And you won't have those muscles to protect you.
No trouble from Bungu's cut left eye in that round. Only from Hamed's
There are 2 things.
fist.
Don't just stay in front work unnecessary, okay? It's either we're close with him or we're out of him, okay? Little, okay? When we go to him, we go to him and work under. Don't try and move back because he's catching us when we move back, okay? Rather stay outside, inside, or to move outside completely, okay?
In that jab, all right? Now, if you're going to pick punches, you're going to follow, okay? Yep. It's not only 1 shot. We want 2 and 3 shots, okay? Now, remember, don't
touch him with the body shot. There you go.
Beautiful. You're working excellent.
Body shot and touch him with the right hand as soon as you bang him.
You're working excellent that body, okay? But remember, I want that jab more consistent, okay, Habub? Okay, we're going to follow with that hook a little more, all right?
Round 4.
Advice from Bungu's corner, either get in his chest or try to stay outside of his range. Don't stand in the middle where you can be hit.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it scored so far?
Jim, 3-0. 30-27, Prince Nassem Hamed. You know, Jim, southpaws don't have great right hands generally. The Prince has got a vicious right hook, and he's been murdering Bungu with it, in addition to that great straight left hand. You can't take it away from the Prince. Really winning easily on good, clean punching.
Well, his style is so unusual. I mean, why call him a southpaw? He's really an ambidextrous puncher.
Very ambidextrous, Jim, a lot like Pernell Whitaker.
He tends to square his feet from time to time. He throws power shots equally well from either side. He's really neither fish nor fowl in terms of southpaw or conventional fighter.
One theory I've heard expressed about why he hasn't seriously hurt or stopped recent opponents, a theory I don't necessarily subscribe to, is that since his fight with Kevin Kelly when he was knocked down 3 times, he's unwilling to fully commit to those big punches anymore. Do you see any of that, George?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, this guy's, I've seen him dig into the body, and he's sticking his head right out there for another left hook.
I think a better explanation, if you want to be charitable to the Prince, I mean, if you're on the Prince's side, one explanation is that both McCullough and Soto fought to survive. Down goes Bungu on a left-hand shot up the middle.
There goes that theory, which I didn't subscribe to, and certainly don't now.
And Viviani Bungu is knocked out for the first time in his career. Certainly never in his career did he face the kind of firepower that he saw tonight.
As the Prince regained not just his magic carpet, but his magic, George.
This was a solid boxer. He knocked out. That you can't regain it any better than that. The guy is on top. If ever he was down, he's on top and a little bit more.
That was what he was looking for. That was a terrific, convincing performance against a solid professional fighter. That was a fight in which Hamed showed that he's making progress towards some of the things Stewart wants from him in terms of being a better fighter.
Now, if the critics continuously criticize him, it's because it's fashionable to criticize such a guy. This guy has the package.
Well, it may be fashionable, George, but I think the criticism is probably making him a better fighter.
Amen. I believe that, too.
And I'll reemphasize my point. I think both Soto and McCullough fought to survive. Bungu didn't, and he got knocked out. Let's take another look, Larry.
Straight left hand threaded through Bungu's defense, a defense that helped him win 14 championship fights before this.
At 122 pounds rather than 126.
And the good thing about this, the Prince did it in his style. He wasn't going forward. He was boxing, picking him apart, and here we go. Boom.
That's the same straight left hand that finished the fight against Kevin Kelly December of '97 in New York. That's the punch that made Hamed a media star in the United States. There it is again.
The song is, I've got to be me. And if as long as he himself, he'll get these knockouts all the time.
Well, if opponents come to fight.
Well,
if opponents come to survive, even the great punchers can't do that much about it.
I agree with you. Certainly, Soto was there to survive.
McCullough's just got the
hardest chin there
McCullough's
is.
got a rock-hard chin. McCullough went the distance against Eric Morales, too. Point made.
His corner was able to communicate with him to take it easy. Take your time. Keep the jab out there. He did it.
Well, it was an easy fight. And a relaxed Prince Nassem Hamed did what the crowd and the boxing public have been looking for. So now, that sets up some big-time possibilities, because we are still looking down the road toward possible fights with Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera, and Emmanuel Stewart says someday we're going to go up to 130 pounds and fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. What a battle that could be. Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest comes to an end as referee Joe Cortez reaches the count of 10. The official time, 1 minute, 38 seconds of round number 4. The winner and still the reigning undefeated WBO featherweight champion of the world, the pride of Sheffield, England, Prince Nassem Hamed.
Final punch that numbers. The ultra unconventional Prince Nassem Hamed landing at a relatively low percentage. Bungu right there in range of where he normally lands, 28%, but throwing about half as many punches